For now, let us relish within the Lotus.
Season 2, Episode 12.
Swarm?
Yes.
It's not the Swarm,
Just
it's
a swarm.
Swarm.
Necronomicon is coming.
Welcome, everyone, to Episode 12, Season 2, Juggalo Rewind Podcast. This is Peter, and as always, we're here with Chris. What is going on?
Doing good. Swarming like a bee to this next track.
We are here for the Swarm, or Swarm, as we like to call
or
it.
Untitled.
Or Untitled, either one. As everyone knows, we go through Juggalo tracks and albums, track by track, lyric by lyric, word by word sometimes.
Historical significance, the Juggalo culture relevance, everything important as Juggalo historians we touch on.
Yes. Doesn't matter if you're a new fan, an old fan, not a fan at all.
Yeah, anyone out there not a fan listening? Did anyone who came here just for Garrett stick around to Season 2? I hope so. Let us know.
Did anyone who came to hear Sam last week talk about sexy, spooky stuff, did you stick around?
Spooky fucking.
There's enough of that. We're on to bigger and better things.
The Necronomicon is coming.
As we said, we deep dive into all the Juggalo classics. It doesn't matter if you're new or old. And then this season, we're doing Tales from the Lotus Pod, Dark Lotus's first album. It's a Juggalo classic from the classic era.
It's holding up so far, I say, as
You
we
think
get
so?
through this. Yeah. You have different thoughts.
I'm not saying I think it holds up.
We'll get to that at the end.
Yeah,
but
we have lots of stuff to talk about before the end of the season. Before we get to all that, let's get through all of our nonsense while Chris plays with his action figures.
We had Dr. Loomis in the studio with us today.
We are the Juggalo Rewind. You can find us Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Juggalo RWD. If you follow us on TikTok, you would have seen our video of us dancing in the studio.
We look good.
Yeah, and we had
Great shape.
matching pajama pants and everything. Lloyd was sitting there.
That almost looked like the dance they would do on stage back in the day. Synchronized moves like that. I can see Jay hopping around.
Yes. So you're missing out if you're not following us on all different forms of social media. There's all sorts of nonsense on each one that we're just too lazy to post on the other.
That sometimes happens. Sometimes they bleed over, but yeah. Sometimes we try to make it special for
Yeah,
each.
you gotta stay special.
And special on Twitter, if you're following along. We'll get to that at the end, but you got to show up there for the MVP voting.
Yes, that's very important.
We had a tie happen.
Yeah, what'd you do? Did you split the vote?
Yeah, they each got 0.5.
No, you didn't.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Why don't you just both give them one?
Nope, they split the point.
What if someone calls in later on and...
That already happened. The time has passed. They have
But
that
you're-
week to call in.
This is...
They have a week to call in.
I'm done. I'm absolutely done. You can email us, juggalorwd@gmail.com. You can listen to us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, Google, Podbean, Stitcher. Anywhere where you can find podcasts, you can find us. Or just throw us in the Google machine. I think
Yeah,
that
it'll
works
pop
too.
up.
JuggaloRewind.com is the website. And the phone number, as Chris alluded to, because he wants to hear your votes and your seance stories and everything about Dark Lotus.
Your
Or,
spooky fucking stories.
hey, if you want to record your spooky fucking... if it,
Not the actual event.
were you about to say intercourse?
I just meant your stories, like Love Line or something, you know.
I mean, if it only takes 3 minutes, that's all you got. So
We'll read it like Kramer reading to George the penthouse stories. That's how we'll do it.
you do whatever you want to do with that phone number. And that phone number is 810-666-1570. Maybe you're at Camp Zool and you find a lovely lady of the night and you want to audio record for 3 minutes what goes on while you wear your forever face and nothing else and a visor.
What's more sexy, the forever face or the visor?
It's a good poll.
That's a separate poll we need to drop.
That's all the nonsense. You have anything else to tie up before we get into this?
Oh, I don't think so. Not that I remember.
Yeah, I think we're still on a high from last week. So
On something.
So we're coming down. Yeah, let's just jump right into it. If we don't have anything else to talk about, let's get into... I keep wanting to say The Swarm, but it's just
The
Swarm.
Swarm is coming.
You sure it's just Swarm?
That's what it says.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, it says a lot of things, but it's technically something that's just made up. Did you ever wonder, and we'll probably get into this, where the titles actually come from? Like, in this one, it's specified in a verse, but, like, did they just write it and then go back and say, hey, what word sticks out, or do they start with the title and then work their way through?
I thought they just came up with the titles later because they wanted to. They at the beginning wanted them all untitled, but then they dropped the Black Magic single and call it that blatantly on the website. So and
then the other 3 or 4 on the other one.
Yeah, we were given
said it
names.
was.
So I don't know when they decided to call it all untitled.
I just wonder. I mean, that's an interesting question, I guess, for any artist. Like, when does the title come?
These ones feel like they pulled them after off the song, so they all are just like, most of them were pulled right out of the song, like out of the hook or out of a line.
This one's just at a random kind of throwaway line, though.
Yeah, as we will get through it, I don't think anyone else really speaks like that.
Yeah, no, Jamie just talks about, like, he talks about it twice, I think. But
Yeah.
Anywho.
I don't even know what this one's really about.
Well, then we'll get
gonna
into
learn.
it. Yeah, we'll get into it together. Do you do your thing now? I ask you every time. Do we jump in or do we wait?
Oh, yeah. We got to
right.
crack her open.
We're going to have our fine pairing of a alcoholic beverage.
Alcoholic beverage.
Of Chris's partaking that matches said song.
Come here.
I'm done. I ain't got no beer, man.
I'm on a brewski, huh? And a booski. Toss me a beer. Yeah.
Dog, we ain't got no fucking beer for it, Joe.
What? So? This is yeah, a cold one.
Yo, all right, man. We ain't got no fucking beer for it, Joe. Stop it. Jesus.
Oh, that one exploded. I did it early.
Well, that's his microphone from now on.
This week, Booski is a local one. We had a couple from California, and I forgot where else. Another one was out of town, but made it back to Detroit finally here. This one's a collaboration from Brew Detroit and Loaded Dice Brewery in Troy. Collaboration beer, Kolsch style ale. This is called Slow Play Honey Kolsch. And it's for the swarm that Jamie Madrox alludes to, the bees
That's
swarming.
funny. If I was going to look for one, I was going to look for one with honey, just because I knew there wouldn't be a name.
I was going to go with the Polish honey beer that we buy sometimes, but I seen this. It's got a little spooky skeleton that works, and 8 and a 6 are the cards. I don't know what the relevance for 8 and a 6 are. Add a 3, and you got Blaze's Death Year, but that doesn't fit.
This one. Talking about?
Right there, it's got a card that says 8 and 6.
I see that. Okay,
So you add a 3, and you got the year Blaze died.
What are you talking about? The 3?
Yeah, you add a 3 to 86. You got shot that ass in 89.
That was a stretch. I thought you meant like a 3, like a card.
A card 3, no,
like,
yeah. I guess I wasn't really making sense there. This one.
This is Chris's 4th of the 4-pack, as you can tell.
This is a single boy I bought. Because honey, sometimes it gets a little too sweet, so we'll see how this one is. This one is honey, wheat, sapphire, hops, and honey malt. So let's pour this boy, see how it tastes. Brew Detroit. They famously brewed the old Kid Rock beer. You remember that?
Is that the American Badass?
I believe
beer?
that's who did it, yeah. Shitty ass Kid Rock beer.
Shitty ass Kid Rock. What happened? I mean, I know what happened, but like, even just today, I was flipping through the channels and Ba with the Ba came on, and I'm like, I can't listen to this anymore.
Well,
like it's like we can still watch Hulk Hogan matches, right? Like, and you
I
can
can still enjoy old Kid Rock.
I can still watch Chris Benoit matches.
I know.
But like something about just and I loved Kid Rock, even the country shit. But like I'm done. But
Not bad. A little. I don't know, not too bad. But if you find one, get one.
give me the can, boy. I don't want a sip of your thing. That's why the old Smelsky.
So the Kid Rock point, kind of interesting you made that, because we were just discussing Hank Jr.
Why? It's because Kid Rock was in Dark Lotus?
It could have been.
Oh, I have a funny story about that, but we'll do that at another time.
We were discussing Hank Jr. because Hank Jr. went the same route where he was awesome, and all of a sudden he just became like a cartoon character, like cheeseball political songs. You're like, man, 80s Hank was awesome. And then just recently he teamed up with Dan Auerbach from the Black Keys. And Auerbach did that with a few people. Like he had the Dr. John album that was awesome. He like starts collaborating with these older artists. So he just, so far the only single that came out, it's like straight up blues cover, Hank Jr. sounding like he did back when he was younger. I'm like, oh, so if Kid Rock came back and did like a Polyfused Method or something, like, and still was a piece of shit, I'd be like, I'm down with Kid Rock's like music, even if he's an asshole. I was like, I'm down with Hank's new music. I can listen to it and enjoy it and not agree with some of the things he says.
All right, well, time will tell.
What were we talking about?
Your beer.
How do we get to Kid Rock? Oh, yes, because Brew Detroit made it.
Yes.
I think it's who it is. They're a small little brewery, so if you have this around your area, grab one. As I was just saying, it doesn't taste that good, but it's not bad. It's a get on the palate a little more.
Okay.
It's not too honey. Like that's what's not bad about it. It's just kind of tastes a little flat, maybe. But as I get through it, I'm sure it'll get better.
Everything gets better the more you drink it. Do you need to?
Yep.
Okay.
You could run through the statistics. Tail of the tape like they do on the Rumble.
That's a good, maybe that's what we call it, the tail of the tape. Well, Chris will tune in from on the other side of the studio if anything comes up that he wants to discuss as he walks away.
Gotta get spooky.
That's fine. Time on this track. Oh, I'm sorry. We should go back. Producer on this track. We are confirmed that it is 100% a Mike P production. Mike Poowall, a.k.a. Mike P, a.k.a. Mike Peasy Wheezy Fosheezy, a.k.a. Mike P wears pants made of duct tape. Time on this track. Nice 4 minutes and 46 seconds. I'm sure there's no filler whatsoever. I'm sure it's...
We're back to your typical Lotus track. A nice 5 minute block almost.
Well, when you got something that good, you got to keep it going, right?
I missed out. We were discussing Mike P. You were discussing Mike P. Shout out to Mike P on this beat because this beat is banging.
Yeah, the beat on this is real cool. I think that's the highlight of the song, to be perfectly honest. Track number 12, as we said, this is episode 12, and we are running through this album track by track. No hiccups, no nothing.
I just poured the wrong beer into this.
What's it going to be like with a little Coors Light mixed in there?
Watered it down a little bit, maybe.
Disgusting. I should have mentioned that I have a nice purple Gatorade, so that'll do us well for the
purple show.
Never mind. Okay, this isn't found on anything. There's no funny notes. Pretty basic. Nothing crazy with the Swarm.
You have a note here about the members of it.
Yes, that's a whole nother
that's
note in itself. So, members, we always note, as everyone should know, and
pedals,
if you don't,
as I like to call it.
Thank you. There are two versions of Tales of the Lotus Pod, red and gold, original and reissue, as we like to call them in the biz, or Mars versus ABK, because Mars is on the original and Anybody Killa replaced him on some tracks. And if you want to hear the history of that, you go back through this season. I don't know what that was.
Spooky.
So this episode, this song has, we'll start with the original. 5 members on the original track. Mars being one of them, Monoxide not on this track.
Yeah, very strange.
So then when they reissued it, ABK replaced Mars. Still no Monoxide.
Yeah, it's funny that they wouldn't, because this is one of the tracks that they had, the Masters too, Mike P's there. It's weird they wouldn't add him if he, whatever reason, couldn't make the recording session.
Yeah,
I guess maybe they just didn't care. I would think on the reissue, they just want to get it done.
Yeah. Thinking about this, just as we have another one like this further down the season with a random person missing, I think it's interesting to not have all 6 people in each song.
I agree.
It's okay to be missing a person here, a person there.
And I thought it happened way more. I
think it only happens on 2 tracks on the CD. Right?
As we dig into this deeper all season, it feels weirder now. When I heard it originally, and we found out he wasn't there originally, that's fine, because I'm sure they all kind of intertwine in and out. But I'm like, no, they actually, so far, every song kind of was everyone has the same amount except Jay. Everyone is there.
Spoiler alert on this song. I think we're going to hit that again.
But yeah, it seems out of place now, as opposed to thinking it was fine. It doesn't match now that we've went through each song bit by bit.
It makes me think just go to the Dumpin' CD.
Mm-hmm.
Is every one of them on every song? Would you even notice? I guess when you were sitting in the car listening to this at the gathering, you're not where's Monoxide?
Yeah, it didn't pick up on it.
No, I don't know if, I'm sure people do, but
right.
I sure wouldn't have remembered. So.
I never cried, especially the way they jump in and out like this. You're just oh yeah, he was there somewhere, I'm sure.
Or even just all the rest of the Lotus CDs. I wonder if their songs
break up into little sets. I think Riders did that. I felt there's a few where there'd be just 3 of them, or I thought there's a few where even it was just Twisted.
I feel once you start getting maybe even an odd number of people,
mm-hmm.
when you're throwing Esham and ABK and Boondocks and all them into Riders, we got 7 people. It's not as easy to cut up.
Or the MNE one where it's 15 people.
That's a nightmare, because it's not a nightmare. I like that CD, but I've never sat and seen who's on each one. Track.
I've never actually listened to it.
You've never listened to that CD?
No, I bought it. I still haven't opened it and listened to it.
Gordy's on 1 or 2 tracks, but he's not on every one.
Oh, man.
But everyone else, to be honest, I don't know the difference between all 3 Al Azuls by voice in Ryder's voice. I don't really know the difference. Are both A and B's on there? There's just random ass people on there, and I'm I don't know.
It's kind of cool, though.
I think it is cool. And to go back to this song, to actually circle back to what we're talking about for one time, this song has a different cadence than the rest. We talked about that last season in, with Hound Dogs and with $85 an hour, and leads into this season. You don't need 2 people a hook, 2 people a hook.
Mm-hmm.
You can switch it up, and this song definitely switches it up. So.
And it makes sense if this is a later session that they work through all those kinks. Like we said, something Spin the Bottle was one we talked about where it seemed like they were still trying to figure out. It was it didn't work fully, where now this one I feel works. Yeah, they got to the point we could do something different.
Yeah, fuck it. Let's just do whatever and make it work. I don't know when we're going to talk about this, so let me plug it in here real quick while we're talking about ABK versus Mars, because that's ultimately what every track comes down to, right? I don't think we've mentioned it earlier in the season, but a couple weeks ago, I was on the Deck 1 Delt podcast.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't talk about this, did we?
I don't know. You were on... Yeah,
I don't think we talked about it. No less, I don't think we talked about it on here. So if you want to go back, there's a lot of Juggalo podcasts out there. I don't think we've touched on them, but Deck 1 Delt, I was on. That's the Mirror episode. I want to say it was number 64, maybe 65, somewhere in there. I was in the beginning part of it. So go back, give that a listen if you want to hear me talk about my bullshit with those guys. But I bring that up because we didn't mention it. And a couple episodes later, they were talking about the Opaque Brotherhood, which is the 3rd Lotus CD. Yeah. And I'm sure they did it in their Tales from the Lotus Pod episode, which was long ago, but they referenced a lot of their Mars versus ABK feelings. And I think it's an interesting thing to hear someone else talk about it.
Right.
So they kind of mirrored what we talk about. Like, it's not his fault.
No,
It's
definitely.
nothing against his verses. They're fine. But the situation that he's put in is just interesting. And they mirror what we talked about, and they talk about, the gimmick of Lotus like we do. And it's just interesting to hear what other people, have to say. So go check those guys out.
Did they find it as sexy as we did?
They didn't get that deep into it, but I'm sure they probably did.
Who doesn't?
I couldn't imagine what sad person doesn't get at least half a heart on listening to this CD.
Hard on.
So yeah, go listen to them. Mirror Mirror episode and Opaque Brotherhood episode. Deck 1 dealt. All right, enough of that bullshit. Now into our bullshit.
Let's go.
We're ready to go. We're jumping into the lyrics, the meat and/or potatoes of what we came here to see.
Yep, the Necronomicon is coming.
My butthole just spit in its pants.
Is that on this? That's not on this
No,
one.
it's not, but it's the exact same intro.
Type of
isn't
intro.
it?
Yeah, you're right.
My butthole spit in its pants.
This one keeps it spooky, where that kind of takes you out of the spookiness when he drops that line.
Also, apologies for my background noise because this song is all over the fucking place. So I had to print both versions because it's not just like, oh,
Yeah,
there's an ABK and a Mars. They're all intertwined like 18 different times. So I'm going to be flipping the pages a lot here. So. But I come prepared, so that's why.
I got it here. It's in front of me.
You have both of them in front of you?
Yeah, I got two
Well,
tabs.
Look at you. You're... Ooh.
I have all my Wayback Machine tabs up here, too. It's out of control. There's like 500 tabs.
Yeah, I had another thing you need to look on the Wayback Machine for. We'll talk about that.
I have a couple old Howard Stern interviews from Wraith era that are just sitting there like waiting. The links are still live for those, so I can listen to those.
All right, so we're talking the Swarm intro, as we're joking about for the past 5 minutes. The spookiness and the Necronomicon is coming. We talked about that, I think, very, very early on. I don't know if this is specifically what they're mentioning. Necronomicon is the Book of the Dead, blah, blah, blah.
Great Evil Dead movie.
Yes. But in this time, they were also toying with the thought of, like, you buy 5 CDs, you put them together, and then the Necronomicon was going to be like the super album or whatever, right?
Yeah, like was that going to be the original Lotus? Like Lotus ideas changed 100 times of what it actually is.
I thought this was
This was going to be the first.
either the first or the last piece of the puzzle.
Yeah, it was Twisted Blaze Esham. Not Twisted ICP Esham was Blaze. No,
I don't know.
I don't think so. And
There
then
was something.
Yeah.
I'm sure they mentioned it once and they changed it, and it's all fucking stupid.
But it
didn't
seemed like
happen,
this was before, that whole idea was before this, and it kind of fell apart. And then he drops this line, so it's hard to remember if this is in that time frame or after, but it's weird that that line's in there, especially if they didn't ever go through with those plans.
Yeah, it's just kind of random in the... It doesn't match the song either.
No.
So, but it's all good. We
It's
just
cool. It's got a spooky vibe, though, even if it doesn't.
throwing a little note in there for everyone. Also, we're already jumping back and forth between original and
Right.
reissue. Original. All
those are there.
But in the I wouldn't even say in the background. It's kind of like
They're like layered over each other.
Yeah, I never picked up on it because usually when we talk about this stuff, it's like real quick at the end.
Mm-hmm.
But this is like in the background, like against the whole line, right?
Right. Yeah. They go on the exact same time or whatever on it.
So on the original, they're saying God is here.
It sounds like it's Mars yelling it.
Yeah, that I don't know.
Yeah, that's what it sounded like to me.
And then on the reissue, they say Shangri-La.
Mm-hmm. Which mirrors exactly these two things. The Mars is occult, religious stuff, and everything ABK seems like it's Shangri-La, Wraith.
Yeah. So that's a little different on the intro, which I never picked up on until literally 2 minutes before we started recording this episode. Before we totally get into this, I kind of want to piggyback on something that Chris mentioned, that you don't know what the song is about, and you still don't know what the song is about. Maybe we're jumping ahead, but like I'm listening to this song, I have a very distinct picture in my head, and I'm showing my hand here that like I don't think the song is that great, but it's better than I thought it would be when we like re-listen to it. I can totally picture this like as a music video, right? And I see very occult, like everyone's in the background and it's real dark and there's almost like a ring of fire, or there's some kind of like almost like, what was the Halloween movie where there's like the weird is that the Paul Rudd one where at the beginning it was like the cult,
the ruin stones,
like but like darker and like fire, and I picture like
the cult when they, depending on which version you're watching, if it's the director's cut, it's the it's the version where they have the incest of Michael Myers and Jamie Lloyd.
Well, hey. But like I'm picturing like the person rapping in the foreground and everyone in the back just to kind of like brew, like I don't want to say like an HOK or like something like that, but and I definitely don't want to say horrorcore or what's the other word that we use? Fucking wicked. But I can picture this being like a real dark brooding video.
Yeah, this
so. And with that I kind of see. Sorry, didn't mean to.
I was gonna say this fits the Lotus vibe, even if we go through and it doesn't fully match the gimmick.
I think it does. Like I think it kind of fits the gimmick more than any song so far.
Right.
Definitely not of the like Egyptian theory, but more of the hey, all these guys are kind of evil, and like this is what they do to you, or like to go with your theory. God, we're going way off the rails here. If like each song is like a chapter or like a room as you're going through, this is the one where all these guys are like, we're the monsters. Like before, you are saying like they're walking into the room and they find Alibaba and they do this and they do
the
that.
Spirits are
It's literally like they're Indiana Jones going through the shit.
Right.
But this one, like the viewer or the listener is going into the room and all the members are like, they are the evil ones, and they're telling you why they're fucked up.
Yeah, I can see that.
That's what I see, and I like picture a cool video, but that'll never happen.
We should pitch it, direct it with half the members.
I mean, can't get them all. Maybe one day.
Maybe they'll listen to this season and go, you know what? We should get back together. Let's get the band back together.
Man, that album was awesome.
Man, think of all those groupies we got with that visor you had on and them sexy lyrics. Oh, we could do it again, boys.
Like, can we take ABK's lyrics out and just have Ouija rap right over them?
They're like, hold on a minute. We got to get Zool in there. So, we got... how many? We got 4 extra pedals. We got to wedge in now.
Yeah, you think they're just going to... we'll trade you 1 Ouija for 2 Zools?
Oh, yeah. There's got to be some bartering to get the other... I mean, Hoodoo should be on this. He's got the spooky vibes.
What if it's just...
All the B dudes?
Yes. This Lotus 2.0. It's Ouija and Hoodoo and Zool.
That's like the NWO Black and White.
Stevie Ray, Virgil, and Michael Wall Street. Is there anyone else on Psychopathic? Those are the only 2?
I don't think Hoodoo's even technically on it anymore.
Is Light still there?
I don't know. I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I thought it was just Ouija, but Ouija also has like his own, like he releases all his music on his own. Like there's only one, he only has one Psychopathic album, I believe.
And he just released someone else on his label.
Yeah.
Like as we're recording.
He's got shoes coming out too, which look kind of cool actually. I can't rock Ouija shoes. I'm an old ass man.
You can if you want to. I'm not stopping.
You can do anything you want.
All right. Now that we've booked the new generation of Lotus,
I need to add them to all the list of Lotus members. We just called it
Lotus 2.0, Lotus Black and White.
Lotus Black and White.
All right. So how are we even going to do this? You just want to do like person by person?
Yeah, just go through each verse, right? Down the line.
So verse 1 starts with Blaze. I mean, Jay's in the background, but we'll just call
Yelling
this
stuff
Blaze's
off,
version.
yeah.
Pretty straightforward and quick. See, I feel like we're going to be reading these like it's a poem because they're only like 4 lines each, you know?
Well, he's got a couple, I could just call out the couple Juggalo, well, one Juggalo reference, Wig Splitter, I feel like is always used in albums of that era.
Yeah, that's
Wig
not
Splitter.
exactly like another, it's not a hip-hop reference.
No.
It's definitely
But also, back to the vampires. A lot of vampire iconography on this album, I feel like. I think everyone kind of has different ideas of what the Lotus crew is, but vampire pops up a lot, I feel like.
it does.
And he's the Dark Lotus King of Fire, which is sweet.
But he's a mass murderer. Strangler.
Mass murderer, strangler, wig splitter, mangler.
So, like, yeah.
His
this-
flow is sweet on that beginning.
It is. It's very, like, gravelly and very
Yeah.
Blaze-like. Just kind of saying what he is. He's a killer, right?
Blood-sucking vampire. You think they recorded this at the same time? What was the Give Me That Blood? Is that a Mike P track or no?
I don't think so.
I'm just curious if that was recorded close. No, that's a Fritz, but that would have been probably close in time frame.
Do you think
Just kind of funny that he has twice blood-sucking lines.
There's another blood-sucking song we talked about before that. There's a lot of blood-sucking on the CD. Maybe there's something to that.
So yeah, I told you, like Nosferatu.
Lotus is more of a vampire gimmick than it is an Egyptian gimmick. We say this every time, and we say this about this every time. We're a broken record. Blaze and Twisted have like a very different version of this than ICP does. Like, straight off the bat, Blaze is talking about killing, and it's like serious,
Yeah.
real, for the lack of a better word.
Horror movie vibes.
Yeah, we'll call it that. Jay's first verse. I'll swing off the ceiling fan and jump like an ape and stomp on your head until it pops like a grape. Like, it's just very cartoony.
It's also funny. He just has the 2 lines, but he goes so slow that it eats up like his flow with his era is, like you said, talking. That I think it's the same amount of time that Blaze and after this Mars go, but he's only dropping like 1 verse.
Yeah. It's also funny, well, now that we're about to get into Mars and Jamie Madrox both rap on this super fast.
Yeah.
Like, they're almost trying to outdo each other. Like, who can cram more in there? But, so yeah, Jay is, Blaze is talking about being a vampire. Jay is talking about swinging on a ceiling fan. Not a lot of ceiling fans in the temple of the occult.
No.
But,
Like you said, they're already possessed. They're the evil ones now. They're in your house.
and their spirits may be thousands of years old, but they are relating to you in forms that you know.
Yeah.
They may not have had ceiling fans 3,000 years ago, but you know what it is, so that's how he is.
Did you learn this in the ancient ruins of Machu Picchu?
That's for another time. We can't discuss what I learned on that.
That seemed very specific. Like you're digging up the Kandari ruins.
I had a lot of time to read on that plane ride. It was a very long trip. We didn't talk about how my plane got canceled.
At the very beginning, yeah.
Yes.
You thought you were going to be here for Astro?
Yeah, that was fun. Nothing like losing 2 hours of sleep more than I thought I was going to lose. So.
Right before everything starts.
Yeah, and I had a nice 45-minute night of sleep. Oh, set our alarms or we end up in 45 minutes.
That's brutal.
Yeah. Anywho, next up is Mars and/or ABK. So we'll start with Mars,
Yeah.
as we always do, the red version. Again, double timing it. Like, he is very quick with it.
And this is goes back to everything we always say about Mars. Is for a guy who doesn't like, he wasn't really rapping before this, right? He was
I don't
more
think
of like
so,
a rock
yeah.
type. Man, he could flow like no one's business. He comes hard on it.
And what is he talking about?
That's the thing is, you just are enamored with the way he raps, but when you read the lyrics, you're like, what the fuck is he talking about?
So he shoots the person.
And now you flatline cause I shut your face 9 times.
Shot you in the face 9 times. We'll see the bright white lights and I see your heart stop. Like, it's very... And now that we say it like that, this is going to go against what I was originally going to say. I always say that ABK's gimmick doesn't fit because he kind of just talks about, like, being a gangster when that's not what this is about. But Mars kind of starts that trend. We go from being a fucking vampire to jumping off a ceiling fan to now just shooting you in the face.
It doesn't really have spooky vibes. It's just he's committing a homicide.
Well, bro, good as day as any to die. All right.
I love at the end though. He goes, "I don't give a motherfucker bye."
When you re-listen to this, does this like ring any bells to you? Like you're like, oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, I do actually, because I remember thinking his flow was super sweet even then on it.
I kind of don't. Again, maybe that's just part of the CDs. It starts waning on me where I'm like, I don't remember Mars's stuff as well as I thought I would, but that's okay.
I had to double check. When he said shot his face 9 times, wait a minute, that's not me. Loomis shot Michael Myers 6 times.
Really? That many times?
I forgot what the number was.
Okay, so we skip over to the ABK version, which, again, I would have been like, there's no way. Like, he's just totally going off the rails, but he's also talking about shooting him. And he, maybe because he has to, but he speeds up his cadence a little bit here too, right? I mean, he's quick with it.
Yeah, he is. More so than usual for ABK.
Bullet holes in your chest with my brand new tech. Dark Lotus in this bitch, so you better believe that we don't give a fuck if you're left to bleed.
This is cool. I think this is as we get through, he has a few more. This is the best ABK verses on the album. I think it fits. It's perfect compared to other ones that don't feel.
Yeah, I would agree. I think I don't know if I would say he shines in this song, but yeah, he fits well. Oh God, I'm skipping all over the place. I was about to just go like 2 more down. Shaggy comes in, and God, maybe you know how you said like Jay's was short, compared to others. Are Jay and Shaggy combining for like ICP lyrics? But that's weird because now we got a Shaggy, a Jay, and a Shaggy.
Yeah, like I do like that they're all out of order like that. Like it's not continuing. Like everyone's just going in line. Like they're lined up single file and jumping in front of the mic. Like, it
definitely makes it harder for us. But like again, it's cool that they're not just being 5 of us in order, hook. 5 of us in order, hook. Like they're bouncing around. Shaggy's. Maybe we're gonna say this is a prelude to a song in the future here. Sitting on a tree branch like a crow, I'll hawk your every move. Dropping down on motherfuckers' backs, twist their heads like screws. As Chris blows his nose.
I was trying to sneak that in.
Now, the annotation on on Genius is so bad.
Someone's stretching.
Yeah. It is.
He says it's a reference to Sting. Because his gimmick with the crow sting, he would sit in the rafters waiting on people's judgment and drop down at moment's notice to deliver the scorpion death drop to his enemies. Which I did not get. Other than them being the crow, nothing from Shaggy's makes me think of Sting.
No, it's not like his. No.
The only reason I would even like connect it in my brain is because back on the Twisted song, he says he drops down like Sting at the rafters of the mall. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, it says crow, and he's referenced Sting a few years before. Other than that, no. He's literally saying he's a crow as a bird in a tree and dropping down on your shoulder like a bird.
I mean, what? Might as well be like a fucking parrot.
A little shaggy bird on your shoulders.
There's a next to me. There's a fucking pirate with Shaggy's face on the bird.
I was already typing that up.
So Mr. Mustard, our good friend over there.
This one, Mustard must have approved it, right?
Well, I'm saying that, like, I think maybe Mr. Mustard is not a wrestling fan and thinks that fit.
No, Mustard has nothing to do with this. This was created by the Riley, not Martin, I don't believe. But it was 7 years ago. How long did Riley Martin pass away?
A couple of years.
Yeah, so maybe it was Riley Martin.
Well, again, if you're not going to interrupt me for the third time, I'm saying that if Mr. Mustard is listening to this, he can go back and fix that. I'm not blaming him.
I thought you were saying he accepted, but Shadowlander is the one who accepted that.
Shadowlander, he's the worst.
Fucking son of a bitch.
That's not even your real name.
You're not a Shadowlander. You don't walk in the nether void of the Shadow Walkers.
What an asshole! It's probably a listener. We're just fucking around.
We love you, Shay. You're a good Shadowlander.
Yeah, whatever. Okay, we gotta go.
Fly off like a crow,
dropping down on motherfuckers. So yeah, He was just saying that he's like watching you and he attacks you from behind and kills you.
Him and Jay, both animals hanging up above you and falling down on top of you.
That's hilarious. Good call. Then Jay comes in. Fuck your electric chair. I don't care. Bring it on, bitch.
I like, bring it on, bitch.
Come on, crack an egg on my head. I'll fry you an omelet. One, no rhyming. They're just giving up on the rhyming.
Just not even trying.
And like, I get it. He's saying like,
he rhymes
hey,
chair and care.
Oh, fuck. He's insinuating, I assume, that like, hey, I don't care. I'm gonna do whatever to you, even under the threat of being, put in the electric chair. But he doesn't say that. He just says, fuck your electric chair. I'm gonna fry you an omelet. Whatever.
Yeah, so far they're all attacking someone. And now, I don't know if he's just referring to, I've already stomped on someone's head and crushed it, so now I'm getting, the death penalty, so I don't care, bring it on. But it doesn't, at this point, doesn't match where this is headed, unless everyone else comes back with a second verse that way.
It's a leap that I think makes sense, but it's where we have to make that connection.
It sounds cool, though.
Shaggy comes back, and he's naked. He's deep in the woods, and he's naked. And he's doing voodoo chants, which is funny in the background.
Voodoo chants, yeah.
Like, that's another good thing in the song. There's a lot of shit in the background.
Shaggy, both of his are very strange, but his flow's kind of cool. Like the way his cadence, the hop around in my skull drum, the voodoo chants.
That's nothing to do with anything, but that's okay.
Voodoo's always in the Juggalo lore.
It is.
So I'll allow it.
I'm sure they're glad that you're allowing it.
It gets a pass in my book.
Jamie Madrox is like, okay, get out of my way. We're going to talk about some crazy shit here. But then I have no idea what the hell he's talking about. He's more off the rails than everyone else. Is he saying that he's a fetus with a microphone? With 3 arms, 2 brains, and 1 leg?
I always thought it said 2 braids, so I thought it was
Oh, that's a good call. I don't know. Even when I listened to it today, I think that's what I thought it said.
That's what I always thought. And reading lyrics says brains, which I don't know. Either way, it still doesn't really make sense. But
See the fetus with a microphone, 3 arms, 2 brains, and only 1 leg. Only 1 leg.
in my mind, when I'd listen to it, I would just visualize that Most Tasteless cover and think,
That's
that was them. And now he's grown and he has his little fucking braids. He's rapping. See the fetus with a microphone, 3 arms, 2 legs, and only 1 brag.
And he double times it. He crams a lot in there.
Little prelude talking about mutating. I guess not a prelude. That would be a.
No, it was to.
I was thinking Man's Myth and Mutant, but this also would have been after Freak Show where they mutate.
Yes, into a freak show.
Yes.
To twisted serial killing juggalos.
So this also just ties back to that visualizations of freak shows and fetuses with 3 arms and 2 braids.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
If I'm gonna let Shaggy's pass for the voodoo references, this passes for the freak show references.
You just let everything pass.
No, I'm a tough critic.
You're a mark, is what you are. Jay comes back. Shoot me, come on. Blow a hole in my lung. So he's telling ABK, shoot me.
Or Mars.
I'll lick out the hole when I swallow my tongue.
That doesn't make any sense.
His tongue is going to go back through and out his chest. Kind of weird. A lot of licking from Jay in these next couple songs. Jamie comes back with, I don't know. I don't understand what they're talking about. Like, his is more like not being a metaphor, but like, you tell me.
Oh, this line could go for today's day and age. Left in a world where hate and anger is the key. You could tell that judge I was recreating all the shit you see on TV. That kind of goes back even to just that era of like blaming music and video games and movies for like violence. Like nowadays, everything's a political line. Where back then it was like everyone's like, oh, that was because of that music or those movies or video games. That's very at the time. I feel like when I read that line,
I can pick up on that. I gotcha. Now we get a Mars /ABK verse. I wrote vile.
He's like, man, I need to go back to my days on Sexy and get fucking weird again.
Yes. He needs to be obscene, make your ass bleed to the extreme. He rhymes a lot in here.
Yeah.
Making up in that rhyme category.
He's like, Jay gave up, so I gotta double up all my rhymes.
What a dream mean when you wake up screaming. I mean, you don't like, you get a scary dream. You're like,
a little sleep paralysis. That freaks me out.
You're like, why was I so scared? Oh, a demon sucking your dick, eating semen.
Eating semen.
Well, I mean, would you be the one that was scared? If you woke up and that happened, would you be? I guess you'd be scared.
I mean, if it's eating the semen, you must have been aroused at some point.
I hope it's yours. What if it's the demons?
Oh, you're eating your own?
Oh, I mean, the demon maybe.
I thought the demon was eating it, yeah.
Eating yours?
I thought you were telling me he's eating his own.
I don't know. That's what I'm suggesting. It could be anything.
We go back to
Can we just not go back to anything?
I was say, making people's asses bleed. That's intense.
Yeah, that's always a problem.
Well, you need to be obscene.
You do. So if we're going back to ABK's verse, same verse, but, on the reissue, is he... Pray for my soul if you think it would help. Holy water in my 40, because I'm trying to melt.
I dig that.
Yeah.
That's cool. Again, I have the vampire type vibe.
Yeah. So maybe he's trying to pick up where everyone else is dropping the ball there.
He's taking out a blaze. He's like, "Oh, you're a vampire? Okay."
Yeah, we're a group. We gotta stick together. Speaking of blaze, he comes right after that. Bullets piercing through, and this is sweet blaze verse, or like cadence. Like perfect blaze.
It picks up.
Yeah,
intense.
Bullets piercing through your skull. Plant my fist into your jaw.
Your chiclets fall into the street is sweet.
Yeah, that's a sweet line.
Yeah, he with the beat, like his like you said, cadence is like pounding your fist to it.
Yeah, very
is what I would say.
Classic blaze. And then Shaggy ties it up with pulling your eyelids over your head, staple them to your skull, drip bleach into your eyes as I face fuck your girl.
That's vulgar. That's intense.
It also doesn't rhyme. So
skull and girl both end with an L. That's something.
That's close. But again, so this verse kind of went from... It started off barely like, hey, this is what we're going to do to you. And then, as they go along, they're like, okay, this is what we're doing to you. We're punching you in the mouth. We're pulling your eyelids up. We're making you eat your own jizz. There's lots going on here.
Allegedly. That could have been the demon enjoying the jizz.
When they were mixing this back.
The jizz demon.
When they mixed this and, listened to it, Jamie's like, God damn, I was not talking about anything like that. The person who talks about the most horror shit, he didn't talk anything. They're talking jizz demons, and he's just talking about, you're blaming what's on TV for my raps.
He did have the rapping triple armed fetus baby.
Yeah, but that's just normal for them,
I guess.
All right, so, God, that took us forever to get through that. That's why I was fucking dreading this song. Then we get to the chorus, which I know you want to talk about, so I will just leave you to your horseshit and nonsense.
I didn't say I wanted to.
No, you love it. This is what you've been waiting for the whole season.
we need to discuss the pieces that Mars brought to the table. And here we are, back again. It's been a while.
Supposedly. I heard it was...
Jump Steady. Sorry, you're right.
Or Twisted.
Twisted brought a piece of Stonehenge.
Stonehenge? We had a time getting it here. You wouldn't believe how we did it.
It was a time getting it there, Jamie said.
We just crammed so many things that you want me to put in the edit in the last 30 seconds. I'm not going to put them all in there.
I did it for you. I had a good Colonel Cochran impression. So yeah, they brought the spooky paranormal vibes with that, and Jump Steady apparently brought some of the Necronomicon Book of the Dead stuff, but this is a straight up occult chant here. So this is coming from Mars himself.
Don't say it all at once, so we don't want the listeners here to have a crow attack them in their car.
So that's the thing. They do, discussed previously, which they did on Call Upon Your Gods and what was the other track?
Who cares? Untitled.
Was it something? I don't know. Previously on Call Upon Your Gods. Previously. I have all my tabs. I'm trying to get back to where I was at.
We should do that every episode. It's like previously on the Juggalo Rewind, and then you just hear Sam talking about bitch witches.
Season 3. That's something we need to add. So, Call Upon Your Gods. Alibaba was the other one I was trying to think of.
Yeah.
Had bits of occult chants.
Bits of occult. 3 songs out of 16, and you go into this thinking that this whole CD was about
all the ones that are Mike P. that are when Mars shows up. That's where all the spooky occult comes from. But those ones I was getting at originally here.
Sorry.
Those ones they edited, as they said. They changed the lyrics up so people don't get cursed. This one, I don't know if they got lazy. This is the last one in the session, but they leave the entire. These are the word for word specific lines taken as it says here in Genius, because I didn't have to look it up. They put it here for me. Old Mushy Mustard himself.
Thank you, Mr. Mustard.
The Mass of Phoenix ritual by good friend of yours, Mr. Crowley.
Mr. Crowley.
So the Mass of the Phoenix is part of a series on Thelma, which is a Western. What does this say? It's a Western esoteric and occult social and spiritual philosophy. Look at Aleister Crowley in this picture here. He looks kind of like Rob Zombie. He looks kind of like Ozzy in this picture.
That was a shoot yawn. Yeah, he looks like...
It looks very spooky. Yeah. He's from 1912, this picture of him. So this is one of his...
looks like an apparition that you would see at Camp Zool in the middle of the night.
It's very spooky. So this is... just pulled directly from this... What would you call it? Would you call it a chant or psalm or
writing,
prayer? Maybe, I don't know. What would you call ritual? Is what we say.
Mental note: if that's from 1912, we should have a character in old wrestling of Aleister Crowley.
Oh man, yeah, that's perfect.
All right,
especially for when they're coming back.
We'll put that down.
Yeah.
Put that in the notes.
We don't need to get into like the
into old wrestling,
into deep into the Mass of Phoenix and what it means and all that. But this is straight up pulled from there. So yeah, I don't know. I don't want to sing along to it anymore. That's kind of spooky that it's the real thing. But you're only doing a bit of the full whatever this is called, the Mass of the Phoenix.
That only takes a little bit.
Yeah, it's only one part of it. But the Do What Thou Wilt is a very that's I think a important part of that whole esoteric philosophy that you're your own God, as at the beginning where he says that God is here or whatever. I think that's a big part of it, that do what thou will, like you're in control of your own life, like go after what you crave. So I don't know, that's kind of spooky to leave that one in there maybe.
I wish everyone could see how excited Chris was about this, and I could just give a fuck less.
I'm just saying. I don't know.
What does this have to do with the song at all?
This is also. Let's see here. So they're all.
Oh, I'm sorry, I asked.
They're all going after their urges of killing and maiming, and pouring bleach in eyes, and
face fucking girls,
eating people's semens if they're a demon hound. So I think that ties in. And Mars is like, you know what? I love to be a demon hound and go after semen, so I'm going to chant my chant in this chorus. Let's see in the second half here if it ties back into that. People doing what thou will.
I like how...
You just saying that gives me the chills.
I like how last episode, Mars is all about just giving the jizz. And now in this episode, he's like, no, wait a minute, I need that back.
I like how we're just assuming he himself is the demon. He's just discussing someone having a demon sucking their dick.
Right in his hand, right in his mouth. Speaking of bodily fluids into the mouth, verse number 2, if you're done. Shaggy 2 Dope talking about a cup full of chicken blood.
He's making that funky cochinilla.
3 shakes of a monkey's paw. I'll have you cutting through your own arm bone with a hacksaw.
He's still in the voodoo. He's still in, kind of back to Malenko, where they have the chant of all the different things they put into Southwest Voodoo.
And Blaze kind of come in with that. Maybe not so much with the what do you call it? Like a ritual, but kind of how he's killing you.
Yeah, he follows Shaggy. Like, was that? If it
that
wasn't on
purposeful
purpose,
or not?
did they? That's also the way this goes together. Where everyone just bring a bunch of lyrics and they picked and choose, like, oh, this kind of goes through, like,
Kind of
plugged it in,
sounds like it.
cut and paste. We're like, oh, this is perfect. We'll put it right after Shaggy's. Like,
Yeah, do you think they're all just sitting in the studio like it's We Are the World, and they're just like alter, like, oh, it's your turn? And
I almost feel like they all
it's
like
not
recorded
good.
just a bunch of different parts and they just picked and choose the best ones.
Yeah, no,
which could go back to like if it was quickly thrown together. That's why some of them don't rhyme.
that's not an excuse for why they don't rhyme. But yeah, that's definitely one way to do it. Yeah, Blaze talking about bone exposed from skin.
Bone saw, ooh yeah.
Pulling your lungs out of your chest. Like, he's out there killing.
Yeah,
Good job, Blaze.
he's just been maiming people.
He has. Then we get Mars and ABK, split verse. Mars talking about the whispers in his head. Interesting here, because I think this is the only part in the song where the beat like totally drops, right?
Yeah,
Where it says the voices in my head is whispering, listen, and then it stops.
Yeah.
And then you hear, you must kill them. And it goes for the second part of that, too.
Mm-hmm.
Where when the ABK, when the Anybody Killer
I like
does
that
it,
ABK.
when he does the verse, it kind of does the same thing. It's not as noticeable, but he has to go with the same. I must, because I wrote beat drops off, so it's the same thing.
But it doesn't. I guess it doesn't make as much sense on his.
No, it definitely doesn't, because he's not like whispering anything.
Yeah.
He's just talking about.
But again, his part, like I said, it fits. Like his flow on this one is his best. I think this is his best appearance so far.
I would agree.
We're gonna be when the sun goes down 6 pedals by from the ground.
He's hammering home that 6-pedal gimmick.
Yeah, he's a company man. He's like Tommy Dreamer. He's like, they brought me in. I'm going full Shangri-La. I'm going full Dark Carnival mythology, the land of the smog, to bringing it all in here.
Yeah, he wasn't just going to let Jay come in the studio the next day and be like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
Stop talking about that stupid shit. He's like, hell yeah, you're talking about that.
Jay's like, we're going to work on your album, Hatchet Warrior, but you got to help me fix this album that I got to re-release because no one wants to buy it without... I can't sell it with Mars anymore.
Which, in retrospect, if they were just printed out a bunch more and sold them now, how much do those go for now?
I think they go for a lot, yeah.
This is crazy.
So do they just not want to because they had to pay Mars, or like, is there a dispute between...
Maybe it's
But I would think they would. Who cares? You pay Mars's cut, like.
Yeah, if you can make the money, it's
still
more
extra
spite,
money,
is what
yeah.
I was going to say. Like, you just want to spite him out of your.
But I think aren't they? I don't know if they're not like cool now because Mars is totally out of this world. But like, I thought they kind of
made up with him.
They were just like didn't really care anymore. Like they're kind of cool. We get to it later. I found this on the Wayback Machine that there was a point where Mars was supposed to go back on tour with Twisted or ICP.
Yeah.
I think it was Twisted.
Twisted.
For Green Book Tour or something, and then like it fell through.
You know that our first rule of this podcast is not to be negative, right? Well, more. I mean, in like we can be negative because we're talking shit, but not like the negativity of the people. Was that of the era of Twisted, like trying to break away, and were they saying like, "Hey, fuck you, let's bring the people together that the boss man hates just to be an asshole"?
It was it was called Magic Ninja.
Yeah.
It was originally that
Magic Records.
Magic Records. It was that era, the very beginning of it, I think.
Yes.
But I don't. The way when I was reading it, it sounded like
it wasn't.
It wasn't like a dig. It was more just like, oh, Mars. Like everyone was kind of cool, but then it didn't work. I don't know. We'll get to it in the wrap up. But
and I didn't mean to insinuate anyone would be spiteful. Everyone is spiteful. Fucking ICP not putting the CD out now in the year 2022 is spiteful.
But we don't know that's the reasoning.
It's 100% the reason. It's not his sample. It's like.
He said the definitive version's of gold, so he's just sticking to his guns on what his...
He's sticking to his spiteful guns.
I don't think they have no fucking idea. Like, they just don't even, or they don't even, like, have those masters anymore. I think they haven't done a good job of
preserving shit.
I mean, as you go through the albums that they've reissued, when they did that CD box set, it was a fucking jumbled mess because they had to like buy copies of CDs off of other labels, and like the albums that were released on vinyl, half of them were released by the labels that just were like, oh, it's record store day, what can we go through our back catalog and like, oh, this Juggalo album might sell decent for record store day. Like, I think it just got lucky that we have all the Joker's cards on vinyl, because more than half they don't even own.
Not
like,
from them.
Yeah. How do we get to this point?
I had so many things that I was trying to wedge in there, but I'm kind of glad I didn't because everyone would have been on my ass about it. All right, we got a lot of bullshit little verses here, so let's kick this into.
I thought we were almost done.
We're not. Look at how long this fucking second verse is.
This is a 5-minute boy.
Yeah, this is Jamie Madrox now bringing the title track into it.
This is the whole reason we're here.
It's the whole reason.
This is why I'm drinking. This beer actually got better as I got the honey, tartness or whatever in there.
Is it coating
settled
your throat?
Better. Yeah, it's gotten a good taste. Perfect timing as we get to the swarm.
Coating your throat, just like Mars's demon.
Didn't say anything about demon semen in here.
It's my new backyard wrestling name.
Demon semen.
It's my
semen demon.
I'm gonna joke.
I don't know if we're allowed to post that on social media.
I'll bet.
I'm making a note just in case.
I thought you meant just here. I didn't know you were gonna like make a meme of it. When we attack like a swarm. Punch you through your face, rip off your neck, and play my rhythm on your vocal cords. So, I think this is where I start thinking. In my video, in my head, they're like now attacking people. Like before, it was kind of showing why you should be scared of them, but now it's like gang attack.
They're getting into it.
Yeah, it's like they're swarming, like literally swarming.
I'm visualizing him with like his fucking foot up on a bucket, just plucking away on someone's on their neck.
On their neck. Now this I didn't really understand, but. Follow me. Maybe you can explain this. Violent J is back on the ceiling.
Yeah.
Like he's fucking.
He likes being up high.
He does. I walk on your ceiling and drop thread in your mouth. When he's saying thread, he literally means like yarn, like a thread.
I think he's thinking he's like a spider. Like he's dropping his little spider web down, the little thread.
All right. Let poison drip down it and silently take you out. I mean, that's kind of cool. I just didn't understand, like, the thread.
Yeah, it's very,
Again, you have to, like, really make a jump with this shit. Like, he's got a line in his head, and it's like, you ever, like, tell someone a story, and, like, you just leave something out, and, like, you expect them to know it, and you're like, how do you not know that? But
I'm visualizing it, but, like, I can visualize it 100 different ways, and I think whatever he had in his mind, like, oh, this looks awesome, like, this visual of... whatever, this little thread dropping down, something secretly poisoning him, but yeah, it's very kind of bizarre.
You forgot to mention that he's a spider. Where are we supposed to know that?
Jamie's like, we're bees, goddammit, we're not spiders, we're bees.
Jamie just pushes him right out of the way, and he says, one bee protecting the hive, we stay alive. I'm on overdrive with my axe.
That's a good little line, though. That all flows nice.
Yeah. And it goes back to the swarm, and like it's goes to the gimmick of not like all for one for all, but they're all like the Lotus Pod is their hive, and they're like killing to preserve it. And then I'm sure Shaggy says something fucking crazy here. Formulating a plan, reflex, come take control. Dip my hand in broken glass and pull your heart out through your butthole.
We said this previously.
We had a good like 2 minutes there of like nothing totally
off the wall.
Yeah, now we're talking about and there's a couple more coming.
This goes as we said. This is very ICP of the times.
Yes.
The butthole and stuff.
Taipei Deathmatch. I didn't see Ian Rotten pulling Axel Rotten's heart out of his butthole. ECW 94.
I definitely visualized the Taipei Deathmatch, though, when he said that. Like,
for those of you that don't know, a Taipei Deathmatch is wrestling match where they tape their fists, dip their hands in glue, and then dip them in
broken glass.
Very
sweet era of punching each other in the face.
There was just one at that first Circle 6 show.
Oh, was
a couple
there?
Weeks ago.
Oh, man.
I don't want to misspeak, but I don't remember who was in it. But
sorry, I was also just Googling when they're talking about the Swarm. I'm like, I wonder if they got the idea for this track off of Triumph by Wu-Tang. And like, did they jump around a lot like that? But no, it was like, I mean, the whole group doing like full verses.
That's just Wu-Tang's gimmick, isn't it?
Yeah, but like Triumph is the one. Remember the video where they all the bees swarming? That's when we were going through Madrox. I'm like, I wonder if that's where they got the idea.
It's possible. I like Shaggy says, "Fuck a formulated plan." Well, yeah, that's pretty much what we did for this
Sums
whole
up this song.
God, we're just getting right into it again. Violent J. Never picked up on this. Ever. My eyeballs are black. My tears drip like oil. That's fine. That's a visual. I fuck holes in my yard and grow children from the soil. Daddy?
Yeah, I don't remember the daddy.
I fuck holes in my yard.
Yeah.
So instead of like, you take your little handheld shovel and you little
Right.
holes, he's just down there just blasting holes in the ground with his dick. Is that what you're telling me?
I'm seeing Jay in the burgundy baseball jersey, the hat, or the visor, just pounding away in the yard in the dark.
Is it? I'm reading that right? I'm not the only one who's like saying that.
But again, I kind of dig it.
You did.
I see all these little Violent J plants growing out of the ground. Maybe that's what Wick the Vic is. Jay, fuck the ground, and that's what Bedlam Red Rum and
Bedlam Red Rum,
Bedlam Yum Yum, and Wicked Vic the Weed Man, or whatever it is. I forgot what the fuck it's called. Wick the Vic, Wick the Weed.
All right, this isn't a.
Yeah, we're not here to talk about stuff now.
We're talking about 20
but
years
maybe
ago.
those are his children. So
you're his children. You're his Juggalo children.
We're all his Juggalo children.
I gotta go. Shaggy comes back for another time here. See through the eyes of the dead. Now they come back alive and rob the air out your lungs. Now I see through your eyes.
I don't know if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
I guess he's saying, he's like the zombie, and he visualizes it, and then he robs their...
Rob Zombie?
Dirty through the ditches, burn through the witches. He's like a zombie. He takes your life, so now he's seen through your body, or he's the spirit from the dead. All but right. Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't work as well as fucking your ground.
Yeah, no, that's way more fun. Mars comes in talking about cyanide. Cyanide, do the body right.
What the fuck I can't hide?
Cyanide, do the body right, motherfucker can't hide, cause I'm in your mind.
Yeah, I don't know. He's talking about shooting people again?
He's got a little your favorite, little backwards talking in the beginning.
There's more of that coming later in this CD that you just wait. I'll be complaining about that. Where ABK comes in on his half, talking about the Dark Carnival. Dark Carnival's in this bitch, waiting for haters to come.
Start some shit.
Point blank with the heat. So he is. Him and Mars are both
battling over who's the most
gangsta.
Gangsta, and if you got your hat pointed to the side,
that's different. That's season 3. Jay is like, okay, wait a minute. Maybe you didn't hear me talking about fucking holes in the ground. I need to.
Let's stop talking about shooting people. Let's go back.
Let's get back to what brought us to the dance. Scientists study me, but they always quit. Because I eat through my butthole and talk nothing but shit.
So good.
This is I need a new co-host. You think that's good? It's funny because it's funny, but it's like...
It's also funny because it's wedged in between. Like, some of it's just come out of the blue. Like we were saying, we're on a good flow where everyone's like kind of on the same. And then all of a sudden it just comes out of like off the wall. I think maybe that's what I like about this song is how everything's just, it's like you're like in a pinball machine.
All over the
bouncing
place.
all over.
Yeah, he's crammed between Mars talking about cyanide and shooting people, and then Blaze talking about Dark Lotus, devastation, murder with no premeditation. Without no premeditation.
All three of Blaze's 3, right? All 3 of his consistently the same type of like vibe, feel, flow. And they all like build up at the end there because they all kind of, outside the Shaggy face fucking someone, Blaze kind of ends each section. I feel like
Talking about demons coming up from the earth, like, way to go, Blaze.
He's keeping on script.
He is. Then we get the other the chorus again, same, right?
Mr. Crowley.
Yes. And then after that, God, I don't think I wrote down as I go through my notes. Da-da-da. As we said, the chorus hits again. Then what we're calling the bridge. In the original version, it's Mars and Violent J.
Right.
Again, I don't know what he's fucking talking about. Nothing has to do with the song. Now, the ABK version has just straight ABK. He's not redoing it. He's just talking about something totally different. And it's just him. It's not him and Jay.
Isn't Jay yelling the God's resurrection still?
I think that's after that.
Or is that just on
That's at the very end.
That's just on the Mars version, isn't it?
No, the God's resurrection is at the end.
Okay,
so we have the chorus, the bridge. We have the chorus again.
Because, they had a lot of extra time to fill. This was only a 3.5 minute song until...
They're like, you can fit 72 minutes on a CD. Oh, well, then we got plenty of time. I didn't write down how much time this wasted, but this has to be a good minute, right? They're doing a fucking chorus, bridge, double chorus, outro.
Yeah, at least 40 seconds, we'll say.
Mars and Violent J say, poison us with their conception, blindly follow their deception. I look at my reflection. I can see the God's resurrection.
Again, I think that goes back to Mars' occult vibes. There's not an actual God above. Everyone is God, and everyone has their own will to follow.
Sure.
where ABK's is more... this is the Dark Carnival. It's still here. I can't believe they're still having it.
They always said it wouldn't last, but we're still here, though time has passed. Our souls were sent to spread the word and shine the light until done heard.
Yeah, I think his is more like the Dark Lotus.
Yeah.
Dark Lotus, the Dark Carnival mythology vibes, where originally that was Mars sprinkling his occult references.
His occultic beverages.
Occultic beverages.
So yeah, that is fucking Swarm. All over the place. I feel like this is the worst episode we've ever done because it's like the hardest to go back and forth on, but...
Hey, we had to do it. We have to get through them all.
Yeah.
And I will say I like the track.
Oh,
I'm a fan.
We're just getting right to that, huh? I don't think it's as bad as I thought originally, but I definitely think these three songs are a little bit of a dip.
I think this song is up there for me. The beat alone is just banging.
Understand.
I understand.
Well, no, that too. I gather, and we'll talk about this, I think, at the end of the season, that this is a Mike P track, and he was super happy with all the tracks that he did. Like, he loved the song. It's not for me. Maybe as a producer, listening to like the beat and all the cool little stuff that he put in, like, yeah, those are all cool. Like, cool gimmicks make it.
Yeah.
But as like a song as a whole, with the verses and the choppiness, when I say this is bottom, for me, I think this is like bottom 3.
Wow.
Of the CD.
I would say top 5.
Top 5.
It's up there for me.
I don't know. If it's not Black Magic and this and the Crows, I don't know what my
Spoiler alert.
I don't know what my bottom 3 is.
I like also that it's an album that's this long and like this far into it, something this different pops up. I like that it throws it off then.
It's different. I get it. I'm not hating on... I feel like we always have to like preface all this, right? Like, I'm not hating on ABK.
Yeah.
I'm not hating on the beat. I'm not hating on the cadence or the differences of how it's not just so formulaic, even though I am complaining that it's hard for us to do. I'm not saying that's why I don't like it. There's something about this song that is all over the place. It's a fucking microcosm of the CD. Like,
it really is.
Like you said, it's just everyone came in and said, okay, give us all 4 bars. Give us 10 versions of 4 bars.
Yeah.
And just we're
Pick
gonna
and choose which ones.
Yeah, we're not even gonna put them in the same order. We're just gonna jumble them in. And fucking Monoxide probably left his zip drive at home, and it's like, fuck.
That's the biggest mystery. Is why is Monoxide out on this? Like, was he personal issues or whatever? But it's weird that he just didn't find time to like, especially the way this track is, that they didn't find time or separately record something for him.
He's like, I really thought we were talking about bees. I literally had verses about bees.
I mean, Madrox is slightly in that realm, so maybe he was following suit and went full blown like B movie with Jerry Seinfeld.
Yeah, he tried, and they're like, "No, we gotta cut you out. We gotta talk more about ripping out your butthole, your heart out of your butthole, and fucking the ground."
This one, though,
if anyone is from the north, it's tough to put a hole in the ground in like 6 months of the year. It's very hard, very frozen.
And then in the summer when it gets dry and it's hard to dig.
Yeah, we have a lot of clay in my area.
Yeah.
I don't know about your digging.
I wonder if Jay did. How's it for Jay to fuck Clay? Not DJ. My one note I wanted to make is this is the track out of all of them, ABK clearly over Mars, which everyone always between the two of those in the entire album, but if I had to pick one track to solidify ABK over Mars, it's this one.
Yeah, I would probably agree with that. Neither one of them really stick out to me, but I would agree.
I think ABK does. Mars's flow does, but overall, outside of the semen demon, nothing really pops out.
Perfect timing. Is there anything in this song that even sticks out? Now that we're just jumping all over the place,
just like the song.
Like there's no line, there's no. You're gonna hate where I'm going next with this, but yeah, I don't see any line or verse or anything historical that sticks out to me that I will remember forever.
No, the hook kind of stands out to me, and I'm just like visualizing it live. Like they did this live, right? I can't remember.
Oof,
I feel like I remember the lights like flashing on and off when they're all yelling the hook.
Maybe eventually, but yeah, I don't know.
Maybe not. Maybe they didn't want to curse everybody in the crowd.
That's also true. Imagine 20,000 people
chanting.
Yeah,
20,000 people.
I'm thinking at a gathering. There's a lot of people. There's a lot of echo. Yeah, there's not one fucking line here that I find like redeemable or memorable. I'm sorry. I guess you're agreeing with me because you're not coming up with anything on your own.
No, to pull out as a reference or a memorable line, no, but the track, I still defend the track. I still dig it as a whole, and I like the choppiness and the off the wall goofiness in between the horror and straight just gangster shooting as
you can
Mars has.
You can like the overall in spite of the parts.
Right.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I just in our notes here, I can't pick out a historical line or a something that is everlasting.
No, nothing for this, but this does call on others. A lot of sprinkling of other Juggalo significance, like the smog, and there was a few others. I can't remember.
Yeah, no, not really. So this begs the question, who is your MVP of the track Swarm?
I mean, it's clearly Mike P. We can't pick him, though.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with because I won't get my explanations. I'm going to go.
Is it possible? Would you allow?
Is it possible? Ancient astronaut theorist. You sounded just like him when you dropped that. You got that Machu Picchu going in you.
If I didn't vote, would that be okay?
You can't now. You had to pick somebody.
All right, really? Can I want to not vote. I want to abstain.
That you can't do that. That's throwing a year. It's not professional. You have to put.
It's not professional.
We're here for your opinion, your Juggalo historical opinion.
I gave it, and I fucking hate the song. And now everyone's going to be mad at me for saying that because I'm not allowed to do it. Sorry, Mike P. I know you like the song, but it's not for me. If I have to pick someone, I'm going to pick because...
No, you need an explanation.
No,
You
I
give it
know,
away.
but I can explain without giving it away. Just the flow and the sticking to what I feel should be. He does what I like. I like. You know what I don't like is
Demon Siemens and
eating jizz. So yeah, if you're forcing me to vote, that's who I'm voting for. But if I'd rather not.
you had to pick someone, and now it's up to you out there to decide.
Yes. You are.
I was lobbing it up to you.
No, I'm so thoroughly disgusted that I was just gonna leave you with the whole thing.
No, you're better at describing those things.
If you, the listener, goes to Twitter, get your own Twitter account. Don't just lollygag like Sam. Don't try to call us like Steve. Go on Twitter, sign up. It's free. Follow.
For now.
Follow at Juggalo RWD while you still can before they take us away. And look for the pinned tweet. There are going to be 2 polls. Just vote for one. You don't have to vote on both. Just vote for who you think the MVP of this track is. At the end of the season, we will tally all the votes, supposedly, and we will announce who the MVP of Tales from the Lotus Pod is.
See, I think you're confusing it that we would tally everyone individually and it'd be a full count. Like these
I'm not.
These are electoral votes.
I'm not confused. You gave a false hope at the beginning of the year.
I did not. I just said if you get a phone call in before
You didn't
next.
say that. You did not say that. This is my work coming into my non-work
Well, you
life.
didn't stop me and clarify for everyone out there. But in my brain, I told people, you get the phone call in before next week. That vote gets into the total tally of the electoral votes of the viewer, the listeners, and they get that one total vote. Unless you're a guest, like Sam, she had a full vote, and she could have went online and got a second vote towards.
But she's not a cheater, so she wouldn't do that.
That's true.
Jiggles
probably is that fucking son of a bitch.
You're no wonder you like Jay's verses in this, because much like him, you have convoluted, like you're saying something and thinking that you're saying something else and you're not.
See, this is why you explain things and I just bring my broadcast journalistic instincts to the table.
This is why I'm in human resources. And
that's why I'm a creative.
this is why you spot check other people's mistakes.
I do. I do also proofread.
Fuck. You misspelled something on Twitter the other day. I think on last week's poll, I think you put Pell. It was something where I'm just like, we can't fix that. It's gone. So
it's gone.
If Elon Musk can let us edit tweets, that'd be great. But
that's a dangerous slope. Because then people could retweet, like, and comment, and then they could just change what they say.
You can do that on Instagram.
Yeah, but I think it's less divisive of a. I guess you can't change the photo, right? You just change the description.
Yeah, I don't know. I've changed the description a ton of times.
Because I've seen a typo.
Well, sometimes some of us typo.
So I type fast, so I got a lot going on sometimes.
I'm not blaming you. That wasn't a shot at you at all. You're so fucking defensive about your shitty spelling. Sometimes I just fix it and don't tell you.
I don't care. It's fine.
I won't even tell you what I've fixed and what I haven't over the years. All right. Is that it? Are we done with the swarm?
Yep.
Swarming on out of here.
Zip, zip, zip.
Why were they screaming at the beginning?
It's spooky.
It's not spooky.
Someone's getting fucking blown by a demon later in the song. That's fucking scary.
Anyways, if you want to follow us, I don't know why after this episode. Hopefully this wasn't the first time you've ever listened to us. Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, all at Juggalo RWD. YouTube, Spotify, Apple, Google. Listen to us all there. Rate, review.
Yeah, subscribe, share.
Tell a friend. Let everyone know what you're listening to. JuggaloRWD@gmail is your email to send us funny stuff. Not a lot of emails lately. A lot more people have jumped on the phone number.
Yeah. Early on, we had a couple emails. Actually, we have a good one for the wrap-up. A lot of Mars notes.
Yeah. But if you want to call us with fun nonsense, 810-666-1570. And those are all the ways you can find us. Is there any way you want to wrap this up, or you just want to get on out of the swarm?
Nope, I think join us next week for the song Pete's going to be singing because he had to listen to the Swarm. I Want to Die.
Spoiler alert, I kind of like that song.
I do too.
Upper half, bottom middle.
Another banging beat. There hasn't been a bad beat on this album. Spoiler alert.
I don't know about that, but we'll discuss that in the wrap-up episode, which we always allude to, but we don't specifically say that after this season there will be at least one, if not multiple, wrapping up bonus episodes talking about mistakes and stories and other nonsense. So keep in tune for that. But until then, this was episode 12. Next week will be episode 13. And this is the Juggalo Rewind. I'm Peter, that's Chris, and...
Bye.
I was ready for that. Were you just waiting for that the whole time?
No, it just popped in my head.
All music played in this episode and in this entire season is owned by the respective publishers and copyright holders, and is reproduced for review purposes only under fair use.